The ancient constellation of Taurus holds the legend of Zeus turning into a snow-white bull for love. He abducted the beautiful princess Europa, whose name later became the name of an entire continent. Today, the Pleiades shine here, the most famous and beautiful star cluster in the night sky. And right here pulsates the Crab Nebula, the eerie remnant of an exploded star with a frantically spinning pulsar.
Today, we're diving into the constellation Taurus. And look, it is so much more than just a random pattern of stars in the night sky. It's a place where ancient human mythology collides with some of the most extreme, mind-bending astrophysics in our entire galaxy. So, let's get into it. Here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll pinpoint exactly where Taurus is up there. Then, we'll take a closer look at its major stars and two absolutely famous star clusters. After that, we are going to explore the incredible aftermath of a star's explosion, and finally, we'll dive into the ancient stories humans have been telling about this patch of sky for thousands of years.
All right, first things first, let's get our cosmic bearings. To really appreciate Taurus, you've got to know where to find it and just how much of the night sky it really commands.
Taurus occupies a huge slice of the sky. We're talking nearly 800 square degrees. Now, out of all 88 modern constellations, that makes it the 17th largest. This isn't some tiny, hard-to-find pattern. It's a massive, can't-miss-it landmark. And, one of the great things about Taurus is that you can see it from almost anywhere on Earth. I mean, from the North Pole all the way down to a latitude of minus 65 degrees. The absolute best time to catch it is during the winter months in the Northern Hemisphere. And because the sun passes right through it from mid-May to late June, well, that's what makes it one of the famous constellations of the zodiac. So, how do you find it? It's actually way easier than you might think, as long as you know the secret. Just look for the three unmistakable stars of Orion's belt. Got 'em? Okay, now trace that line they make up and to the right, and boom, it points you straight to a bright, kind of orange-looking star. That's Aldebaran, the fiery eye of the bull. So, now that we've found our way to Taurus, let's zoom in, shall we? Let's get to know the stars that make up this incredible constellation. You'll see each one has its own fascinating story to tell about the life and evolution of stars. The star that absolutely steals the show is Aldebaran. It's an orange giant, a star that's entering its later years, puffing up as it chews through its nuclear fuel. Its name is a beautiful nod to its celestial role, coming from Arabic for the follower, because it looks like it's forever chasing the Pleiades star cluster across the sky. And to really get a sense of its scale, just try to picture this. Aldebaran is 44 times wider than our Sun. If you were to swap our Sun out for Aldebaran, its surface would completely vaporize Earth and stretch all the way out, halfway to the orbit of Mercury. It is just mind-bogglingly enormous. Now here's a really cool bit of cosmic trickery. Aldebaran looks for all the world like it's the brightest member of that V-shaped cluster of stars, the Hyades. But it's just a line-of-sight illusion. Aldebaran is actually much closer to us, only about 65 light-years away. The Hyades are way in the background, more than double that distance at 150 light-years from us. And Taurus is packed with other amazing stars, too. You've got Elnath, this blazing blue-white giant that shines with the light of 700 suns. And then there's Alcyone, the brightest of the Pleiades, a star that's spinning so incredibly fast, its surface is whipping around at nearly 200 kilometers per second. It just goes to show you the sheer variety of stellar objects you can find in just one patch of sky. All right, now let's talk about two of the most beautiful sights, not just in Taurus, but in the entire night sky. The star clusters known as the Hyades and the Pleiades. These are like stellar islands floating in the cosmic ocean. You can really see the difference between them. It's like a tale of two stellar families. The Hyades, which famously make up the bull's head, are the closest open star cluster to us. They're an older, more mature group, around 625 million years old. But the Pleiades, or the Seven Sisters, they're the new kids on the block, a family of stars that's less than 100 million years old. They're hot, they're blue, and they're still wrapped in this ghostly blue haze of gas left over from their birth. Okay, now we're going to pivot from a place where stars are born to the scene of a star's incredibly violent death. We're talking about the Crab Nebula, the spectacular, ghostly remnant of a massive star that literally blew itself to pieces. What's so amazing about this object is that we have historical records of its creation. Yeah, back in the year 1054, astronomers in China and the Arab world recorded a brand new guest star that just appeared out of nowhere in Taurus. It was so ridiculously bright you could see it during the daytime for 23 days. They were witnessing a supernova. And what we see today is that cloud of stellar guts still expanding outward from the blast. And right in the heart of this cosmic train wreck is the engine that keeps the whole thing glowing, the Crab Pulsar. This is a neutron star, the super-dense, crushed core of the star that exploded, and as it spins, it sweeps beams of radiation through space, exactly like a cosmic lighthouse. And the physics at play here are they're off the charts. This stellar corpse, an object more massive than our sun but squeezed into the size of a city, is spinning 30 times every single second. That unbelievable rotation powers a dynamo that pumps out gargantuan amounts of energy, lighting up the whole nebula and making it shine across the entire electromagnetic spectrum. So we've looked at the science, the hard physics of it all. But that's really only half the story of Taurus, because it has this incredibly deep and ancient connection to human history and mythology. Humans have been fascinated by these stars for a very, very long time. In fact, some researchers believe that the famous cave paintings in Lascaux, France, dating back 17,000 years, might actually be the first known star chart depicting Taurus and the Pleiades. In ancient Mesopotamia, it was the bull of heaven. For Slavic traditions, the Pleiades were linked to Veles, a god of cattle. This pattern has always meant something to us. But of all the stories, the most famous one, the one that truly endures, comes from Greek mythology. The story goes that Zeus, king of the gods, fell for the mortal princess Europa, so he transformed himself into a magnificent white bull. Europa was charmed by this beautiful, gentle creature, and when she climbed on its back, the bull charged into the sea. Zeus carried her all the way to the island of Crete. There she would give birth to his 3 sons, one of whom was the legendary King Minos. As a tribute to her, the landmass to the north was eventually named Europe. And to commemorate the entire affair, Zeus placed the image of the bull among the stars, where we can still see it to this very day. So after all that, the astronomy, the physics, the ancient history, the mythology, what is Taurus really? What are we looking at? Well, the answer is that Taurus isn't just one thing. It's an ancient landmark that has guided humanity for millennia. It's a stellar laboratory where we can watch stars being born and growing old. It's the ghost of a cataclysmic supernova, powered by one of the most bizarre objects in the known universe. And it's a cultural cornerstone, a story so powerful it gave its name to an entire continent. Taurus reminds us that when we look up at the night sky, we're not just seeing distant balls of fire. We're seeing a fundamental piece of our own story.
Thank you, friends. Strive for understanding and become wiser. See you soon.